If you're the IRS right now and you've been putting off dealing with it, this video could save you thousands of dollars, maybe tens of thousands. And I need you to watch this all the way through because I'm going to show you 7 signs that your IRS tax debt is already worse than you think. And most people don't find out until it's way too late. I thought it was super important to come on, give this video so that you are prepared. And I mean, there's just no other reason other than that, right? So let's pause. Hey friends, welcome back. I'm Lloydetta, and this channel is all about helping regular people navigate the IRS, get out of tax debt, and finally reset their financial life without shame, without confusion, or overwhelm that usually comes with it. Working in this industry, there's one thing that is consistent. Well, several things, but this one in particular, people tend to wait it out. They get letters from the IRS and they feel they need to wait. They feel sick to their stomachs, even. They put it in a drawer. They tell themselves they'll deal with it later, next month. And while they're waiting, the IRS is not waiting. So today we're going to talk about 7 signs that have already probably determined whether or not your situation is worse than you may realize and what you can actually do about it. Let's get into it. Sign number 1, you've missed multiple filing years. And this is huge. You've missed filing your taxes more than 1 year. Here's what most people don't know about that. Not filing is actually a separate problem all in itself than just not paying. The IRS charges a failure to file penalty that is 5% of the unpaid taxes per month up to a 25% cap. That is on top of the interest and other penalties. So if you owe $10,000 and you haven't filed in 2 years, you could already be looking at 12, 13, maybe even $15,000 just from the penalties piling up. And you haven't even started the conversation with the IRS yet, right? Here's the thing. The IRS can file the return for you, and that's called a substitute for return. And this is again when they're filing on your behalf, and I promise you, they're not filing it in your favor. They're using information from W-2s or 1099s or whatever they have, and they're calculating the maximum they think you owe without deductions, without credits, just the highest number possible. And they're not doing that because they don't like you or because they hate you. They, in fact, don't know you specifically. It's just the way they operate based on the information they receive. And they receive that information through information returns, which are filed to them by an employer or a contractor that you work for who paid you. They're required to file these documents on behalf of them receiving funds or paying out funds from their business, so on and so forth. If this is you, if this is you with multiple years on file, that's a major red flag and it needs to be addressed first before anything else. Number 2, you're only paying the minimum or you're not paying anything at all. You're either paying nothing toward the IRS balance or you're making token payments that don't even cover the monthly interest. Let's put this into real terms. The IRS charges interest based on the federal short-term rate plus 3%. As of recently, that's been around 8% annually. So on a $50,000 balance, you're looking at roughly $4,000 a year in interest alone. That's about $330 a month just to keep the balance flat, right? Like, so that's insane. We don't want to add problems when we don't have to. If you're sending them $100 a month thinking you're doing the right thing, you're actually going backwards because your balance is growing every single month, again, because of those penalties and interest that are silently allowing that balance to grow. Here's the part that really stings, though, right? If you're in collection status, the failure to pay penalty is also stacking. It's 0.5% per month on the unpaid balance, up to 25%. The only way to actually stop the bleeding is either to pay in full, which of course most of us can't do, or to get on an official resolution program, which is exactly what I want to talk to you about. So stay tuned. Let's get into number 3. Number 3, you've received a notice of federal tax lien. You've received a notice of federal tax lien in the mail, and you've discovered one attached to your property or credit. A tax lien is the IRS saying publicly that I mean legally and on record, that they have a legal claim to everything you own. your house, your car, your business assets, your financial accounts, everything. A lot of people confuse a lien with a levy, and I want to clear that up right now. A lien is a legal claim, it's like a stake in the ground, whereas a levy is an actual taking of the money or property. The lien comes first, and if you ignore it, the levy is next. So that's why it's super important to open the letter, sis. So when a federal tax lien is filed, it shows up on your credit report and it can prevent you from refinancing your home, getting a business loan, and even selling property without the IRS saying, hey, I need mine first, you know? So if you received a federal notice, a notice of a federal tax lien, your debt situation is already past the I'll deal with it later stage. You're actually in an active IRS enforcement territory and you need a plan. Number 4, the IRS has contacted your employer or bank. You say, why would they do that? The IRS has reached out to your employer or your bank, and this means either there's a wage garnishment or a bank levy that's happened or is about to. A wage levy, which most people call wage garnishment, or the IRS is taking my check. It means that the IRS contacts your employer directly and legally requires them to withhold a portion of your paycheck and send it to them. And that's just kind of their way of saying this is what's ours, and we're going to go ahead and take it since you didn't send it in to us. They don't need a court order to do this; they'll just do it, and legally they have the right to. And unlike your regular creditors, the IRS can take a very significant portion of your paycheck, often leaving you with just bare minimum exempt amounts based on your filing status. Excuse me, exempt amounts based on your filing status. A bank levy, on the other hand, is when the IRS freezes your bank account and takes the funds. There is usually about 21 day hold period when this happens, but that's the window for you to do something. And you'll know you need to do something because you receive that letter in the mail. If either of these has happened, or if you've received a LT11 or CP90, those are the final notices before they begin this levy process. You are in a genuine emergency, not I should probably look into this soon, or maybe I'll get back to this later. I'm gonna put a pin in it and get back. No, you need help immediately because this is becoming an emergency. Get help immediately. Number 5, your penalty balance is bigger than your original tax bill. And this one surprises a lot of people. When you look at the IRS transcript or your online account, your penalties and interest have grown to be equal to or bigger than the original tax you owed. This is what is called compound punishment effect. Let me give you a real example. Someone owed about $15,000 and let me see. Yeah, someone owed about $15,000 in taxes from 2019, right? So they ignored it. By the time they came to get help between the failure to file penalty and the failure to pay penalty and accumulated interest, they owed over $27,000 total. The IRS had essentially double what they owed in just a few years without any new tax debt being added. The longer you wait, the worse the math gets, period. And that's the math that never maths right. Now, here's something important I want you to know. Penalty abatement is a real thing. And in certain cases, especially for first-time offenders or people who have a history where they're compliant with making sure they're paying their taxes on time, quarterly payments are being paid on time, withholdings and everything are being paid on time, there's an abatement option that's available. The IRS can actually remove those penalties. And it doesn't happen automatically. You have to know how to ask for it. But it is a legitimate option that many people never even know exists. That's exactly why I created took the time to create this video so that you are aware of these options. Number 6, you keep getting IRS letters and ignoring them. You have a growing pile physically and mentally. It's just getting bigger. The IRS letters that you just haven't opened, that you didn't respond to, or you didn't take any action on, that pile is just getting larger. I know why this happens. Opening those letters feels terrifying. Seeing those numbers on paper makes it feel, I don't know. It's just something that most people just don't want to deal with. It's an uncomfortable feeling. So the solution seems to be just to not open them. Let them stack up. And the brain treats this as a problem handled, even though it's absolutely not being handled this way. It is absolutely the wrong thing to do. And don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to scare you. I'm not trying to deter you from anything or sell you anything. I'm trying to give you the knowledge you need so that you can make an informed decision. Here's what you need to understand about IRS notices. They follow a sequence. Each one is a more serious one than the last one. It goes from the CP14, which is your first balance due notice, like, hey, you owe us. And then it goes all the way up to an LT11 or CP90, which is, hey, we're getting ready to take some stuff. And that's the final notice of intent to levy. That's essentially the IRS saying, we've reached out to you several times, multiple times. We've given you the option for due process. We've waited to hear back from a response because each letter has a time frame on when you can take an action on it. That's the other reason why it's super important to open it. And now we're coming up for your money because we haven't heard anything. Communication is key in every relationship, right? In marriage, in families with children to adults, and relationships at work. Communication is key. The IRS considers you notified when they send the letter. Whether you open or not is irrelevant in their system. So if you're in a situation where you have stacks of letters that you haven't dealt with, I want you to do one thing today. Sit down and open them in the order if you can, and write down what each notice number is. That alone will help you understand where you are in the collections process. And if you're overwhelmed just thinking about it, listen, I have a money reset checklist linked below that walks you through how you can get organized. And I'll link that below, and it'll again give you an opportunity to just kind of go through those steps, see where you are, and help you get organized. Let's go on to number 7. You feel paralyzed and don't know your options. This one is most important. It's because why? That's why. That's just something I thought of that I was watching on TikTok that was extremely funny. I just had to throw that in there. But no, seriously. Number 7 is you feel paralyzed and you don't know your options. And this one's important because when you feel completely stuck, you feel like I can't do anything. I don't know what I can do. There's nothing I can do. You know something needs to happen, something needs to be done. You know it's bad, but you don't know what your options actually are. So again, solution, do nothing. That's actually never the solution. I really want you to know that's never the solution. I want to say something directly to you if this is where you are. That's paralysis. It's not laziness. You're not irresponsible. It's what happens when a problem feels too big, too confusing, and too shameful to face alone. I see it all the time in business and in personal. It's not that you're lazy. It's it's just one of those things. And we all go through it in some way, shape, or form, in some time or another. Smart, hardworking people who just get behind, maybe because of a divorce, maybe because of a job loss, a medical crisis, a bad business year, and now you just kind of feeling like there's just no way out. There's always a way out. There's always a solution. And I just want you to know that I want to drive that home. I want to drive that home. But here's the truth. There are legitimate IRS approved programs designed exactly for people in your situation. Things like installment agreements, options like currently not collectible status, even offers and compromise and compromise. Excuse me, offers and compromises (OIC), right? Where you may be able to settle that debt for less than you owe. There's even innocent spouse relief. You're in a situation where you didn't even know that your spouse had this going on because they didn't communicate. That's why communication is key in all scenarios, right? So there's an option for innocent spouse relief. These aren't loopholes, they're built into the tax code. The problem most people the problem is most people don't know how much that they are truly in and which program that they can qualify for. And that's exactly why we're here. We want to let you know that there's options. We want to let you know that you're not alone. We want to let you know that you're seen and that you're heard and that I'm with you. Let's get clarity. Let's see where we're at so that we can start working on a plan, right? What you can do about these 7 signs. You've heard them. Maybe one of them hit you hard. Maybe 3 of them did. Here's what I want you to take home from this video. Knowing is better than not knowing. You watch this video for a reason. The instinct to get clarity is the right one. Keep following that. Do know that there is a window, though. The earlier you act, the more options you have. People who catch it early have more leverage with the IRS, more programs available, and a much smaller bill to deal with. Waiting costs money. Action saves it. You don't have to figure it out alone. Here are three things I want you to do right now. Number one, take a deep breath and know that this is a space where you are seen and heard. I see you and I hear you, and your debt is not your destiny, nor is it your identity. This too shall pass. Number two, I want you to download my money reset checklist. It's a free resource. I put it together to help you get organized. And number three, if you're ready to talk, to really talk to someone who understands, who cares about you, tap the link below for your free confidential tax relief chat. It's a discovery call. It's 30 minutes, no pressure, no sales pitch, just real information for your real situation. The links will be in the description. I put them right at the top so you don't have to go hunting. And I can't wait to hear from you, sis. If this video helped you, please hit the like button. It genuinely helps this content reach more people who need it. And subscribe if you haven't already, because I drop new videos every week. This is going to be something we're starting, and it's going to be a process because this is information I feel we need to discuss. So we'll be dropping new videos every week on tax relief, money resets, and building financial stability, even when it feels like the IRS has the upper hand. It's about being proactive. And that's the goal. We want to make sure that you understand the importance of being proactive with your finances, because we also have to address the need to know how we got in this situation. And I want to go through all of those things with you. I'm excited about what's to come. I'm glad that you're here. So please like and subscribe so that you will not miss the next one. Drop a comment below and tell me which of these 7 signs hit closest to home for you. I read every single comment and I want to know where you're at. I'll see you in the next one, and just know that you've got this.